Hi, I'm Alexa. This is my fourth attempt. I had my video almost done, and looks like my internet is having issues, so hopefully we can get this one done. Do you ever ask yourself questions like, why am I so stupid that I can't get XYZ done? What's missing? Why can't I do this? Why don't people, what's missing in me that people don't like me? What's missing in me that I can't do something? Probably 15 years ago, maybe a little more. Hard to know exactly when. I had a conversation with my dad, and I don't know the exact what led up to this, but I literally asked him, like, what's wrong with me? What am I missing that I couldn't just go do this? And I vaguely feel like we were talking about certain jobs that had a lot of money, but like I find them unethical, and like I wouldn't be good at them. I'm not going to go out there and like think about a car salesman. Like I would not be good at it. I'm not like that. That's not who I am. I don't think that's the job we were talking about. I don't remember the exact thing, but that's just one of those situations where like I don't have the ability to go full salesman mode. And I think we all have had probably an experience where we've had a very, very pushy salesperson. Oh, you know, at the mall where they have those little kiosks and they do like face creams and stuff, and they come over and they're like, oh no, let me just show you, and I'll show you on your hand and it'll make your skin so smooth. And then like you're stuck. Like they grab you and pour the stuff on before you can even say no thanks. We've all had that kind of thing. I don't think that was the job, but that's the kind of thing where like, that's not me. I don't like that, so I wouldn't want to do it to someone else. And I've just been thinking about this conversation with my dad because his response was, there's nothing missing in you. It's missing in them. And there has been a lot going on worldwide, probably for the past 15, 20 years. And I've started to think, what's wrong with me? Am I missing something? Am I not understanding something? Why do so many people like this? Like if this was done directly to them by this person, I'd never hear them stop complaining about it. Why are they okay with it? Like, what am I missing? What's wrong with me? And I keep hearing my dad's voice saying, there's nothing wrong with you. It's missing in them. There's nothing missing in you. It's missing in them. And I've had some other really sort of situations that highlight this sort of concept. If you have not gone through certain things of a certain magnitude, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a magnitude that other people can see, but the magnitude of the emotions and the turmoil and the suffering that you have internally is the bigger key part to it. If you have not gone through certain things, you cannot fully ever understand what other people are going through. What some of these situations that are being perpetrated on people, forcing them into them, you can't understand what they're like. And we can think we know. And then something else might happen and we're like, oh yeah, no, I seriously didn't know. I thought I did. Okay, now I know. And then again, you might be like, well, now I know. And then something else happens, you go like, oh, I didn't know. Right? So you're constantly, when more stuff happens to you, you keep learning. But there's this, I think it's Khalil Gibran quote, the deeper that sorrow carves into your soul, the more joy it can contain. And I do think that that's true. I have known and do know people who have basically had what is, in the grand scheme of things, very charmed lives. They have barely wanted. Like, they haven't got everything they want, but they've barely wanted. They haven't had to go. They don't live in a war zone. They haven't lived it through famine. They haven't been homeless. They haven't had, massive childhood trauma. Like, they haven't had anything that most people would agree is substantial and really, really bad. And I'm not saying they should have. I'm not saying that. But if you haven't had that, it makes it very hard to understand people who have. One of the things I've noticed from a few people more recently, but obviously through my life, is that when I will say and talk about my life, they'll think I'm complaining. They'll think I'm being negative. And I'm like, well, no, you asked what happened. This is what happened. These are the facts. Do you want, I could give you the complaining to go on top of it, because this isn't the complaining. This is the watered down, politically correct version that I think you can stomach. Right? And I notice it always comes from people who haven't had certain things. And then again, looking at this larger, broader societal thing going on, I was asking myself, what am I missing? Like, am I reading the wrong things? Am I getting my news from the wrong places? I get news from multiple sources, both in the US, external, overseas, different countries. I try to read, if I read something that is obviously a leftist type source, I try to find the same situation explained on a rightist source. And that way you can find that it's normally somewhere in the middle. It's normally not on either side, right? It's normally somewhere in the middle. I prefer to get sources that are not, obviously, or have been independently evaluated and are more like just the news, just the facts, not commentary. But we're all people, and people always have agendas, even if they're trying to be unbiased. The biggest thing over the past 10 plus years is this notion of appearing unbiased, which is actually making them biased. Because there are some things that are so egregious that there is no other side of the story to it. It is just that bad. And instead, a lot of these news medias have tried to be both sides. One story here, one story there. One story here, one story there. It's not gonna work. It's a disservice to us. We need to know how bad certain things are. And if it's not put out there, people genuinely don't know. And if you don't know, you're making a decision based on incorrect data and facts, and you're almost certainly never going to get the right outcome. You might get lucky and choose the right thing, but most of the time when we don't have all of the data, we're going to make a wrong decision somewhere. And that's just anywhere in life. That's not even like society, elections, nothing about that. That's just literally in our lives. If we don't have all the data, we're going to make the wrong decision. Let's say car shopping. If you're car shopping and you don't have all of the right data on safety, right? You might think the one car is better than the other, and it's not. It might actually be worse because the newest safety results aren't out from the whatever year you're looking at for the other model, right? It happens. And I wonder how we can fix that. On a different level, I have people in my life that I either directly or tangentially, and I know I could help them. I know for a fact, I know that I could help them. They're not ready. They don't have the capacity yet to understand what I would be able to tell them or teach them. And the flip side of that is that there's absolutely people out there who could help me and teach me things, and I am not ready or have not been ready in the past. We learn continuously if we're open to it. And I hope that with my channel, I encourage people to always keep learning. The things we know, most of it isn't the one truth, right? Everything evolves over time. And if we're open to that concept and learning and being excited about learning new things, it definitely makes life more interesting, and it makes growth possible. I have done very intentional things over the past decade plus. There was a moment where I realized that there was literally nobody who would ever, and I mean ever, look out for me and my career other than me. That it was 100% my responsibility. And I hadn't done a very great job of understanding that and holding other people accountable and fighting for my own self, for my worth. I had let others usurp that power from me. And it had showed in what had happened in my career to that point. Now, I do also think that the fact that my degree didn't get posted to where most people doing background checks check for it. I found out 8 years late that it wasn't posted. I do think that might have had something to do with some of the struggles I had, but can't prove it. At the end of the day, I was also not doing the right thing in my own way for myself and treating my career with the respect that I need to give it myself. And we all need to do that for ourselves. We are all 100% responsible for ourselves. Because listen, I am a huge, huge, huge believer in the fact that luck is 99% hard work and preparation and 1% opportunity. Because if you get an opportunity and you haven't done the work and you're not ready to step into that opportunity, and I don't mean that you know how to do like let's say it's a new job, you're not going to know how to do that job until you do the job. But if you haven't done any preparation for that job, they're going to pass it off to someone and give it to someone who's done preparation. That's what's going to happen. And the day I realized that was a turning point in my career. Has it been perfect since then? Lord, no. None are, right? Like, it's not that kind of life. It's always a journey, and it's a growth, and it's that. But over the past 10 years, I can list off probably 10 things that I have done intentionally that have increased and impacted and affected my career in a positive way. And I have gone after those things so intentionally. Some people aren't ready to hear that. I wasn't. I was not ready to hear that until the day it clicked. I know people had tried to tell me that before. Didn't matter. I wasn't there. I wasn't ready. I hadn't learned enough, suffered enough, figured out enough, struggled enough. I hadn't gotten to a point where I sort of hit a bottom and said, let me look at the facts. Let me look again. There's got to be something I missed, right? I wish I could help people. I've talked about this one YouTuber I watch, and she's absolutely was not ready for certain people to tell. And other people were telling her this. I never really reached out and said any of this, but she wasn't ready to hear certain things, and that's okay. And she's gotten to a point today or in the past couple days where she realized it herself. It doesn't mean we stop trying to share the knowledge we have. It doesn't mean we give up on those people who you might think they have their head in the sand. They refuse to learn, right? Because we don't know what they are learning right now, and we don't know what they are going through. even if you know like something about their lives, you don't know everything they're going through. But I also believe people when they tell me certain things. And a lot of us will say we want something because we genuinely have convinced ourselves. We've told ourselves over and over that we want something, that we believe it. But it might not actually be the full thing we want. There's more to life than one thing, right? So I don't think there is anything missing in me. I think that anyone who is looking at other people's suffering and finding any sort of joy in that, true joy, not that mirthless, told you, now you're going to suffer unnecessarily, right? Like not that mirthless joy, but like true joy in looking at other people and seeing them suffer. That's something missing. And maybe it's missing because it's being overrun by pain, anger, hate, frustration, whatever those emotions are that are stronger. But we need to stop selling ourselves short. And we need to stop giving other people our power. And we need to stop looking outside of ourselves for other people to fix it. It does not matter where you are right now in your life. You have the power to be happy, to be sad, or my personal favorite, to be balanced. I call that peaceful. You have that power. If that resonates with you, let me know. Absolutely. If it doesn't yet, I hope one day it does. It's pretty mind-blowing when you realize, and when it, at least for me, when it sunk in that I got to choose. And listen, I still get frustrated in my days. I still let stuff come out, right? I still voice my frustrations or whatnot. I got super itchy. Sorry about that. I could let all the stuff that's going on in the world right now really, really hurt me. I could let it bring me so low that there's no point going on. If you study history at all, if you study what's going on right now versus other civilizations in the past where this process has played out, there is every day an increasing likelihood of a war coming. We do have the time to turn that tide, to avoid it. But we cannot let that bring us down and think that it's inevitable. It doesn't matter how likely it is. As long as there is a little bit of a chance that we can avoid it, we have to work to avoid it. I told myself a very, very, very long time ago. I think I was 11. Might have been 12. That justice was most important. And by justice, I mean what is actually the right thing to do. And I don't always get it right. But I do stand up for what I believe is right in my own way. There's sometimes when it doesn't matter, right? Other people can make their choices, and as long as they're not hurting someone else, like, who cares if they go do, I don't know, buy one car over another, right? I don't really have very strong thoughts on that, but there's things that it doesn't matter. What is the right thing? What's the wrong thing? Selling something for, let's say, selling something on eBay for more than it's worth, Facebook Marketplace, whatever. If someone's willing to pay it, then is it really wrong? I mean, price gouging we kind of say is wrong as a society. We have laws about it. But if someone's willing to pay you for something that you ask them that amount, I don't know. I just kind of stay out of those. It doesn't harm my day-to-day life. But standing up for what is right and standing up for what we believe is just and true can be very difficult. And it can feel like we're alone. I will say that in the past 3-4 weeks, it has become obvious we're not alone. There are a whole lot of people out there who know wrong from right when they see it. And even if we have to say this is wrong on each individual issue, as long as we do that, we can move our society forwards and away from bad stuff. This was a weird one. If you got anything out of this tonight, definitely let me know. If you made it this far, thank you. Hopefully when I watch this back, I won't see that my video went down at all. I literally almost had it completely done and the video went out. And I thought about just doing an ending and splicing it, but I've never done that. And I was like, I really don't want to do that and start that. Try and do that tonight. Anyway, wherever you are tonight, I hope that you are able to choose balance and peace. I think we all deserve that. Be kind to yourself.